What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Oh yeah. I'm a little early. I see there's a couple people early. Appreciate you tapping in. Turn this down. I'm gonna just get everything together. I got my notes together, got my reading materials. Oh, that's what I'll do real quick. Boom. I'm about to drop the links in the little chat thing for us, so that if you don't have the reading materials in front of you, we don't need that echo. If you don't have the reading materials in front of you, you can still follow along. Bam. That's the Constitution. Right there. Right there. And boom. Okay. Got all the links together. This is the Quran. Bam. This is the Quran questions for Moorish Americans, or the 101s. And this is the link to Moorish literature. Bam. I probably should have put them stuffs in the, yeah, duh. I'll put them in the description too. Duh. Because if they start chatting, it's going to disappear. Duh, Rami. I hope you're doing well out there. I'm kind of hungry. Right now, I'm getting down on this green smoothie. With the mango situation, is hitting right, man. I must admit. Boom, divine questions, Quran. I'm missing the Constitution. Boom. Bam. All right, so if you refresh, it'll be in the description, the links for the reading materials today. Yeah, we still early, so I'm letting everybody roll in. Share this. You ain't gotta like and subscribe, but it is important to share this with everyone, because this message and this information is for all Moorish Americans. Hold on, just sharing it on the book, as it is called sometimes. We are live. Share it on the book. And we'll also do it here, there, or once. All right, so we didn't share that thing out. Okay, let me just go over this here. If you didn't already, well, I mean, it's a little too late now, but it's another video that I just put up earlier that gives some context. At 2 o'clock, I'll go over that video just briefly. Let me think. What else do we want to? Oh, there was some things I wanted to elaborate further. The brother said, was I lying about being a grand sheik? Man, what was the other? I feel like it was one more other thing I wanted to speak on. Hopefully it'll come to me. But questions. Any questions that you may have, please. I'm here to try to do my best to answer all of them. With the love, if we could. I really appreciate if we can do it with the love. You know what I mean? Not the spitefulness and the shots and the unnecessary disrespect. That's not cool. put that there. Why is that important? Started off like that deer. Started off like that deer. Bam, bam. We got 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. I appreciate y'all being patient with me. I'm not trying to start early. People be like, wait a minute, you said 2 o'clock, Rami. Hold up. You cheating us. I want everybody to be able to hear the message and the information. Hope your day is going good. You know what I mean? It's I'll show you outside, but we already set up. But it's nice out here in California. Got it. Boom. Oh, right. There was another one I did too that I could have. Oh, there you go, right there. Man, if you hear my stomach, please excuse me, man. That thing like, bruh, you need some food. $39 and $29. Already did one. The prophet has spoken. Could do the obey. Number 45. Yeah, I'll pass on that one. We almost there. It's like a little countdown going. We got 2 more minutes. Appreciate you. That's good. Get ready with that. Yeah. That would be smart. That would be something that's wise to do. There it is. Boom, boom. All right, peace. Islam. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. What's happening? You know what I mean? All of that good stuff. All right, we're gonna begin in 1 minute. All right, peace. Let me wait till that click that too. I'm a little excited. I will say this. I'm gonna do my very best to hold back some of the sarcasm, some of the jokes. But it is in me. You might hear 1 or 2. Please forgive me. And I'm doing my best to be humble, but I'm also really excited to get to this because it's something that I've been struggling with for a while, and through all of this, it forced me to really get into the information carefully, read it very carefully and slowly, read it again, and then I started putting the pieces together, and I'm feeling amazing about it. So, I am Rami Salam El. Excuse me. Let me be all the way clear. Because matter of fact, I did a video a couple weeks ago, 3 hour thing, kind of breaking down my whole story and background, but I forgot to explain my name, which I was like, how did you do that? So I got to a point where I needed to choose a name for myself. I wanted to choose a name with purpose, and that's what the wisdom from Elder Kabahai Watha Kamene, he explained to me that he was teaching in a lecture, and a young person came up to him and said that he was really inspiring, except it was difficult because he had the name Booker T. Coleman. And, you know, he really struggled with that and ended up choosing a name that helped reminded him of his purpose. And I said, okay. Fast forward to myself. When I chose the names Rami, Salam, and El myself. Rami representing love, Salam is peace, and El is for our Moorish lineage. But I also have another name that I don't really say all the time, which is Abdullah. And I actually got that from a Muslim brother named Muhammad, peace of the brother, that was driving a cab back when I was coming back home from Boston. And what had happened is we were driving, and a Moorish brother that looked homeless and possibly on drugs had jumped out in front of the car. And he you know, hit the brakes, and he's like, whoa. And I believe I said, you know, like, pray for that brother, something like that. And he had said something in Arabic, and we both kind of locked eyes, like, okay, you know, like the energy is there. And so we're driving, and I see up front, I'm looking up front, he has a book that has a bunch of Arabic script on it. And I'm interested. I said, excuse me, what kind of book is that? And he said, it's the Quran. Not the one that Noble Drew Ali brought us, but the Quran. I don't have the big version over here by me. Oh, yeah, I do. Bam. Bam. It has something like this, although his book was like extremely beautiful. And I said, man, you know what? I said, okay. He said the Quran, and I said, okay, that's cool. I've been I've been interested in Islam. I have a Quran, you know, but I don't really know where to start. I was very like timid about getting into Islam. And he said, are you a Muslim? And I said, you know, no, I wouldn't call myself a Muslim because I don't practice, you know, the practices to qualify yourself to call you a Muslim. I do believe in God. And he said, he laughed and he said, brother, even if you don't know it, you're a Muslim. And and so we're riding, and I said, I did ask him, I said, you know, what is your name? And he broke down his name, and I said, I'm interested in choosing a name for myself. Would you have any recommendations? And he said, a great name for you would be Abdullah. He said, a lot of people think it means slave of Allah, but truly it means servant of Allah. And I said, okay. And I wrote it down, and I said, you know, I appreciate it. I'm not just going to say I'm going to take the name because I need to look it up and do some things on my own. But I really appreciate it and went my way. And so that's the backstory of my name. I forgot to put that in the other thing, so I just wanted to put that out there. Now, let's get to the topic at hand. We are talking about Noble Drew Ali, the Supreme Grand Council, and cleaning up the Moorish Science Temple of America. If you didn't watch the previous video, just a quick summary. I had been making videos since about 2015 in regards to the Supreme Grand Council. When I was doing some studying, found out about it, and started asking questions, nobody could come up with the answers about who are the active members. Not who are the members when Noble Drew Ali was around, but who are the current active members of the Supreme Grand Council. And nobody could give me an answer. And the feeling that I got when I kept asking that was the same feeling I got when I was asking black leaders about Noble Drew Ali. Everybody just was kind of like avoiding addressing the issue. And so, you know, I kept at it, kept making videos. Currently, I made a video and just been reaching out to Cujo, Awa El, Canaan Moors, and also Jamal. I forget the brother's name, Jamal Abdullah Bey, of the Rise of the Moors, as well, to address the Supreme Grand Council issue and stop doing their own things. Cujo, if you didn't see in the thing, you know, at one point had said that what he was doing with Canaan Land Moors was better than any Supreme Grand Council, and also said F the Supreme Grand Council. And both of them and their followers or supporters have been attempting to turn, you know, this whole conversation and dialogue into a me versus them thing. And I keep reiterating that this is about what Noble Drew Ali instructed for us to do as Moorish Americans. So now what I want to do is I want to walk us through it step by step so that we really and truly understand just exactly what's going on. Cool. Oh, and also, any questions before I get started? I see people is in here. Peace, peace, peace to everyone. If anyone can, please send a message, the link to Cujo, to Jamal, to Harka, to any Grand Sheiks, Grand Governors, Assistant Grand Sheiks, Secretaries, Muftis, advisors, chairmans. Forgive me if I'm forgetting any positions, but any Moorish American or member of the Moorish Science Temple of America that you know, I would humbly ask, please send this link to them so they can be included on this bill, because I would love any questions that anyone has regarding this, because it involves us all. And I want to keep reiterating that. It's a we thing. It's not just a Rami thing. It's not me pointing out just Cujo and these people are wrong. This is a we thing as Moorish Americans. Okay. Oh, that was the last thing. Questions. When you ask the question, please, if you could, just give your name, your nationality, and where you're from, just so that you can represent who you are, and we can all understand that this is a global thing, that this is truly about humanity. All right, cool. Boom. Let's get to it. Step by step. First step. Who is the prophet for Moorish Americans? Noble Drew Ali. Okay. Boom. Okay. Why is this? And this is the Quran questions if you don't have it, to verify who is Noble Drew Ali. He is Allah's prophet. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it in a second. Just walk with me. Walk with me. Walk with me. Why is it important that this is he's a prophet? I just skip ahead. He's Moorish American. He's Allah's prophet, universal prophet. He came here specifically for us to teach us who we are. Okay, boom. But why is this important? This is key. And it's not that we are worshiping Noble Drew Ali. I didn't even put that in the notes, but let me get that out 1 second. Boom. To verify that we are not to worship Noble Drew Ali, the chapter 35 in the Holy Quran, you can click the link so you can follow along. In chapter 35, line numbers 1 and 2, there is but one Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. The Son is not Allah. Though his noblest image, he enlightened the world with his brightness. His warmth giveth life to the products of the earth. Admire him as the creature, the instrument of Allah, but worship him not. So if you wanted to see this metaphorically, that Drew Ali is representative of the Son of Allah, or Jesus, if you want to say in that sense, the Son of Allah, we are still, even we can admire, respect, honor, but do not worship. Worship him not. To the one who is supreme, most wise, beneficent, and to him alone belong worship, adoration, thanksgiving, and praise. So I just wanted to put that on the record so that we're clear. When you hear Moorish Americans speaking about Noble Drew Ali so much and saying he's a prophet, understand that he is very important, but still do not worship that man. You worship no man. You worship Allah. But let me get to number 39. Bam. Number 39. And now I'm going to, I don't know how to cover on this, but this is the Moorish literature. If you click the link, it's the moorishkingdom.tripod.com link. If you click that, if you have a computer or another way to look this up, or a little pad or whatever, the section that I'm reading from is section number 39. Moorish head makes plans for conclave is the title. It says, beginning October 15th and continuing through the entire week, the Moorish Science Temple of America, of which Mr. Drew Ali is the founder and president. I'm going to read it one more time. This is coming out of the Moorish literature. Section number 39, Moorish head makes plans for conclave. Beginning October 15th and continuing through the entire week, the Moorish Science Temple of America, of which Mr. Drew Ali is the founder and president, will hold his first general conference at Unity Hall. Unity Hall, 3140 Indiana Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. President Ali, I like the sound of that, President Ali. President Ali. I'm sorry. Okay. President Ali began definite plans to this end upon his recent return from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, where he spent several days lecturing at the local Moorish temple. Now, I just read this last sentence. This organization is playing a useful and definite part in advancing the sacred obligations of American citizenship, not Moroccan citizenship, American citizenship. And I just wanted to stress again, President Ali, founder and president Ali. And as you heard in the previous clip that you watched before this video, Cujo Awa'el, Grand Sheikh of the Canaanland Moorish Temple, confirmed and affirmed that this is about law. This just isn't about religion. When you hear Prophet Noble Drew Ali, don't just think religious, because it is a divine and national movement. He is a prophet, indeed. He's also a president. Oh my goodness. Oh, I gotta take a sip. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now we have established. I want you to we walking through. Step one, we established he's a prophet. Okay, Moorish Americans, prophet. We understand this. Step two, we understand why he's important. He's the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America and the president of Moorish Science Temple of America. Understand that. Oh wait, there's more. I'm sorry. Pardon me. Section 29, we're going back to Moorish literature. Section 29 is entitled Following Our Leaders. Noble Drew Ali is definitely our leader, the definite leader for Moorish Americans, for true Moorish Americans. Following our leaders out of the Moorish literature. The thousands of Moorish Americans will follow their leaders, regardless of propaganda put forth by those who have designs to hinder them in the work for the advancement of their people. We will not stop to question the requisites, qualifications, nor anything else, so long as our leaders who have investigated and passed on the course of action which we feel is enough endorsement for us to act. We have long known that the first attempt to crush the leaders of any movement or organization is to plant dissension among their followers. Such will never be the case with Moorish Americans, for when we have chosen our leaders, Moorish Americans choose Our leaders, I'm going to say it one more time. Moorish Americans choose our leaders. Let me continue. For when we have chosen our leaders, that within itself tells the world that we are going to follow them. All the knocks and slams that come from anyone against our leaders will be ignored by us. Where they lead us, we will follow. Now, we have our opinions and beliefs and feelings on who the leader is right now currently. But one thing we know for certain, one leader we know for certain that all Moorish Americans can follow. Who is it, ladies and gentlemen? Brothers and sisters, please tell me. Somebody tell me in the chat. Who is the leader that we all know we can follow without doubt or contradiction? I'll wait. I got some time. Taj Tariq Bey, that is incorrect. I love the brother, but that is incorrect. That is incorrect. I love him. That is incorrect. Let's try again, brother. Sarah Udi Bey. Is there anyone else? The Orthodox Moor said, Prophet Noah Dry Ali. I agree. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree. Yes, sir. And where they lead us, where Noah Dry Ali, and also where Moorish Americans, the leaders that we have chosen, where they have leaders. Once we have chosen, oh my goodness. Let me. We got to continue. We got to continue. Okay. In terms of following our leader, back to the Moorish literature. Excuse me. Oh, 45, because I don't have the pages on this one, so I got to go to the computer. But I already put him up. Oh, no, that's right. I didn't. That's what it was. Okay, yes. Here we go. 45. March 11th, 1929. Brother Crumpy Bey, the governor and the chief head of the temple in Pittsburgh. Brother Childs Bey, governor and chief head of the temple in Cleveland, Ohio. These two brothers are in power by the prophet to investigate business, etc., of Temple Number 4 in Detroit, Michigan, because Lomax Bey has violated all divine laws of the prophet. Even before the prophet's face, February 15th, 1929. This is a charge. He claims that the prophet has no more power. When he says he's speaking about Lomax Bey. So there's this the leader of the temple in Detroit, Michigan, number 4, Lomax Bey, claimed that the prophet Noble Dry Ali has no more power, and the finance from Detroit would be in his charge, in Lomax Bey's charge. It wouldn't be sent to the main temple. He wouldn't send any to the prophet. He yelled, Lomax Bey yelled with a loud voice, "Look at me, I will guide you through." This is lawful and living evidence spoken before 1,500 people. And the prophet was also present. I want you to understand this. This is in 1929. And Lomax Bey, a head of a temple, a subordinate temple, in front of 1,500 people, including the prophet, said the prophet don't got no power no more. I'm keeping the money. Understand the severity of what was going on. I, the prophet, declare his office vacant, his being Lomax Bey, in the name of Grand Governor discharged. He can only be a member according to law, because the Moorish Science Temple of America is a divine organization. Each temple is under supreme guidance of the prophet. Supreme is the highest level of guidance. Supreme, highest. When man fails after being placed head of the temple by the prophet of obeying the law, the divine laws and constitution, he is a traitor and an enemy of the divine creed and unloyal to the national government, USA, to which the movement is to make men and women better citizens. From the prophet Noble Dry Ali. I wanted to read this in specific because he used the word obey. When you're the head of the temple, you have to obey the prophet, the divine laws and constitutions as the heads of temples. I want you to understand that, and that there's consequences if you do not obey and follow the instructions of our leader, prophet, president, Noble Drew Ali. Okay. Boom, boom. Okay. So now, step one, Noble Drew Ali is a prophet for Moorish Americans. Step two, why is that important? Founder and the president. Then we read literature about why you have to obey them, that we're to follow our leaders. Noble Drew Ali is our leader. We must follow his instruction. We can all agree on that, right? Have I lost anybody on those first two steps? If I lost anybody, let me know in the chat real quick before I go on to step three. Because, with this, I really want us to really walk through this together so we understand, okay, Noble Drew Ali is a prophet for us, so-called black people, really Moorish Americans, for all people, but specifically for us, just to be clear. Number two, why is that important? Well, because he was the founder of the movement and the president of the movement. And it says we're supposed to follow our leaders without question once we've chosen them, once they valid. Okay, and we're supposed to obey them. If we don't, especially if we're heads of temples, it could be some trouble. We could be in trouble. Okay, I'm making sure that we follow the steps. Brielle Blair El Bay, follow the prophet and settle your beefs privately. Settle your beefs privately. I want to speak on that real quick. The letter that I just read, March 11th, 1929, the Moorish literature, is that private? That is not a beef. What's going on right now is not beef. I do not want you to put that kind of label or put that framework on it, because this is not a game. Please don't misunderstand what's going on. This is not a game. This is not a club. We're talking about law, as Brother Cujo Awal said. We're Moorish Americans. That's talking about our nationality. It's law. This isn't a beef. And it's not supposed to be private, not official business. Number three. Oh, right. Got a little ahead of myself. Number three. What is, I'm going now to the Quran questions for Moorish Americans, and I'm going to be reading question number 13. What is your nationality? Moorish American. I'm going to go back to number 12 just to be clear. What is his nationality? Moorish American. And who are they referring to? Noble Drew Ali. So that's helping us understand and make clear that we are of the same nation. Noble Drew Ali is a Moorish American. I'm a Moorish American. Same nationality. We're connected to the same nation. Okay. And I also wanted to point out, as we are speaking about our nationality and being connected to nations, I would also like for us all to understand and agree that nations have governments, right? We can all understand, so we're not losing anything. Nations have governments, correct? I just want to make sure that we following along, because we didn't got to the point we understand who Noble Drew Ali is, a prophet. He's a Moorish American prophet. We're Moorish Americans. Okay, facts. Nations have governments. We're talking about our nationality. We have a nation. We're not speculating. It's not a guess. It's not a belief. This is science, what we know. Now I want to go, oh, snap. My fault. So I'm going to be reading from the Oral Statements and Prophecies. I should have looked up the link for this just so that you could have read it also. My bad on that one. But I'm reading from the Oral Statements and Prophecies of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And this book is a collection of statements that is said or reported to be from Noble Drew Ali or from Moorish Americans, members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, of what Noble Drew Ali said. To give you some sort of understanding, with Muslims and Islam, it would be considered hadith. And I believe that's Hadith. Let me look that up, excuse me. Yeah, hadith. Hadith. Okay. So I'm going to be reading from here real quick. Number 45. Because we just went over Moorish Americans as our nationality, so is it Noble Drew Ali's. We're from the same nation. And nations have governments. Number 45 says, this is quoted from Noble Drew Ali, I am going to leave the European here just long enough to teach you how to run a government. The next one says, I'm going to repeat myself. I think I repeat. I am going to leave the European here just long enough to teach you, Moorish Americans, how to run a government. Okay. So let's summarize. We understand we're Moorish Americans. He's Moorish American. He's a president. We're of the same nation. Nations have governments. Drew Ali said he's gonna leave the European here just long enough to teach us how to run a government. Okay. The question I have for you, I write this down here. What government is Noble Drew Ali referring to that he is saying is the European is going to be here for us to learn how to run a government? I'll wait in the chat. Because remember, Noble Drew Ali is in Chicago, Illinois. This is North America, the United States of America. And he said he's going to leave the European here just long enough to teach you, Moorish Americans, how to run a government. What government is Noble Drew Ali referring to teach us? What government should we be looking to learn from? Does anyone have an idea? Just drop it in the chat. It's no stupid responses. Don't be afraid to put out your thoughts. El Basir, Islamic. That doesn't quite make sense. The Europeans are teaching Islamic government? And what government is that? Not quite. I don't believe that is the answer, but let's keep at it. Anyone else? MST of A. I'm Hotep Abdullah L. Not quite. He said he's going to leave the European here just long enough to teach us how to run a government. So the Europeans' government, what are we learning from? If that's going to be here to teach us, what European government? Unless you're trying to say the Europeans are running the MST of A. No, he didn't say our own that we create. He didn't say that. We're going by what it said. Science now. Anyone else before I put out my perspective on what he was referring to? Because I believe it's very clear. Whitney L., America. Hey, yes, I agree. As referred to as America, but the official is the United States of America. Yes, that government, that American government. Yes, indeed. That government is the government Noble Drew Ali is referring to for us to learn from, to teach us how to run a government. What government is he teaching? Our government of our nation. Okay, we're following the steps, right? Okay, okay. Number 4, we on the steps. We on the move now. Let me get my smoothie. Okay. I just want to refer you again back to what Cujo Awa said. When you hear this and what Noble Dry Lee and you're thinking about the Moorish Science Temple of America, do not just think of this as some religious movement. This is law, nationality, nation, government. And with governments, they have officials that sit in the office or the seats of government, such as like a president or a secretary of state. You have those senators, you have congressmen. These are officials that sit in the seat, people that run the government for the nation, the representatives of the people. Did I lose anybody? Did I lose anybody on the understanding? The governments have officials. Just want to make sure before I ask this question. Governments have officials. Anybody lost? Nobody lost? Okay. Question. Who are the officials, who are the national officials of our government, of Moorish Americans' government? Who are the national officials of our government? Think about that question before you respond. Just think on that. That's a doozy. That is a doozy now. Man, you got the memes going like, man. Oh, we got a comment. Abdullah. Yeah, okay, yeah. Not about the officials, but I feel that. Okay, I don't see anybody dropping a list of the names. And that's okay. It's cool. Because we're here to learn. Because Noble Dry Lee said he's going to leave the Europeans here just long enough to teach us how to run a government. So I said to myself, I read it over. I said, okay. I said, who are the... All right, well, if I don't know, what website would I go to for our government to find out? Well, who could I talk to? I got confused. I didn't know who to go to. Which website is the official one for our government? Who do I contact to know for sure? That's a dead end. Let me back up. Noble Dry Lee said he's going to leave the Europeans here just long enough to teach us how to run it. Okay, well, let me humble myself and look to the European and study. Okay, and I want you to do the same. That brings me to my next, because I was just going to go straight to the website, but I found this as I was getting prepared. This is the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of California. Now, this is 2001, 2002, but the Constitution of the United States of America, for the United States of America. Anyways, the Constitution, that's what we're focused on today. Oh, wait. Yes. I'm gonna get back to that. Before that, I said, okay, I wanted to look up online. We're gonna get to that. That's important, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Excuse me. I said, looking at the United States government, I said, okay, if I wanted to find out who are the officials of the United States of America government, the government for the United States of America, how would I do that? Well, let's walk on down to the Googles, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, boom. Who are the officials of the USA government? Okay. Official Guide to Government Information and Services. USA.gov. Right below it, government agencies, and elected officials. USA.gov/agencies. There we go. You click it. Wow. How do I contact my elected officials? Learn how the government is organized. Find the right agency to help me. This is right off the top of the screen, and it got a little button for Espanol. Hola, to my moros. Oh my goodness. Anyways, so right off the top, it's very clear. You could click that, contact my elected officials. You could learn about how the government is organized. We'll do that in a second, but I'm just walking us through. It has A to Z index of U.S. government agencies. Find contact information for federal government departments, agencies, and government-sponsored enterprises. The budget of the U.S. government. Contact government by topic. Forms by agency. State, tribal, and local governments. Find contact information for state, local, and tribal governments. So not only when we're looking at the United States of America's government, right? The government Noble Dry Lee told us to look to teach us. It's very clear they make it very easy and accessible for the public, for everyone, to find out who are the officials of the government. Right? Very clear. If you don't believe me, I don't want you to believe me. You can look it up for yourself. Go to USA.gov/agencies. AGENCIES. Okay. Now I say that all to say, coming back to our government as Moorish Americans, where do we go to find our elected officials? How do we contact our officials of our government? Asiatic Afin. The temple. I agree. However, which one? It's unclear, right? As Cujo said, there's a whole bunch of temples out there, right? How if I was just Joe Schmo, if I was Bob Henderson, I'm coming in as Bob Henderson, and I want to know more information because I heard about this Drew Ali guy. Seems kind of interesting. I want to know, who are the officials? You guys say about nationality. My name is Bob Henderson. I want to know. Well, this guy says he's the Supreme Grand Sheik, and this guy says he's the... Well, who's the leader? You let me know. Asiatic fan. I'm joking. I'm putting a little humor on it. But the real truth behind that is this is the problem that we are faced with across the nation. Our people are struggling with this very simple issue all the time, coming into this information, coming into this movement, coming into our temple. It is very unclear about who are the elected officials. Because remember, the officials are chosen by us, right? Well, how do you choose officials in a government? Come on now, somebody tell me. How do you choose them? How do the people choose them? I'll wait. Come on with it. We are here today to learn, baby, with love, though. Vote them in. Asiatic affair. Bow, 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 bow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know if you're a sir, but indeed. When do we vote? Where do we vote? How do we vote? More questions. More questions. Who do I go for the answers? Maybe Noble Dry Lee. Study, study, study. Study, 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 they say. Study, 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 they say. Okay, study, 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 they say. Got a little ahead of ourselves. Let's reel it back for just a second because we was going looking. Oh, that's right. No, but I wasn't done with the looking for the officials because I looked it up myself. I went to congress.gov, right? I said, man, let's see what I could find. congress.gov. Go to congress.gov if you can. Pause this video if you're watching afterwards. Just pause it and go congress.gov. Boop, boop, boop. Enter. And what you'll see right off the top, it says, scroll down, contact your member. Find your member by address. Then it has a little box up at the top right. Members. Let me click members. Congress.gov members. Members of the U.S. Congress. 93rd to 116th Congress. 1973 to 2020. It has an About Members section where you can find out about the members of Congress from 1973 to 2020. But wait, there's more. Oh, current members of the 116th Congress. Find a representative. It has a drop-down box. And you can just scroll and find your representative. This is the United States government that we got to learn from. Find a senator. You could do the same thing. How to contact your member. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. I looked over to the right. What do we have? It says Biographical Directory of the United States Congress, 1774 to present. So you mean to tell me the United States government has a directory where you can search on your own, you don't cost nothing, of biographies of United States Congress members from 1774 into the present? And then when I look at our government, Moorish Americans government, you mean to tell me I can't even find out who are the current officials of our government? Does that sound like we are doing what we're supposed to do? Sisters and brothers, Moorish Americans, honestly, be honest with yourself right now. Does that honestly sound like we are on our job, like we are being active and not passive? And I'm saying we on this, we, because we are a nation. We aren't being active. We aren't doing what we're supposed to do. I don't want you to believe me. Let's continue. Governmental structure. That's what I said. I said, okay, it's clear that we don't have the detailed information readily available for the public. No problem. As Moorish Americans, we got some work to do. No problem. What about basic governmental structure? What is the basic, and I'm asking Moorish Americans viewing, anybody, what is the basic governmental structure for Moorish Americans? Is it readily available for anyone to find, anyone of the public? If Bob Henderson wanted to stroll and say, well, how does the government work? Is there a document, is there something that she can pull up right now that explains it very simply and very plainly? I'm looking in the chat. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was looking, I didn't see it. You could look at maybe someone else knows about, you know, a breakdown from Noah Drali or from a Moorish American that wanted to do the work and put it together so everybody can see. But I don't know if it is readily available that everybody can refer to or does refer to, that everyone knows. So let me continue, because we're here to learn. We got to study. Noah Drali, your opinion is going to teach us how to run a government. Let's look at the government. Now we get into this. The Constitution lays out the government, how the government works, what the government can and can't do, the powers of the government. That's what the Constitution is for. Here it goes. Preamble. We, the people of the United States, coming from the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Article 1, Legislative Department. This is one branch in the structure of government. In this government, there's three branches. The first one we're talking about, legislative branch. Article 1, Legislative Department. Section 1, Congress. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. Okay, the legislative branch, okay, is called the Congress. Inside this Congress, two sides. I'm sorry. It's the House of Representatives and the Senate. House of Representatives is composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualification requisites for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. So the House of Representatives works off of the people of several states, all right? And the electors in each state shall have qualifications. Where's the other page? Here we go. The Senate. So we have the House of Representatives of the Congress is members chosen by the people, and the Senate of the United States, the other side of the Congress, shall be composed of 2 senators from each state chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years. So the House of Representatives is chosen by the people. The Senate, the other side of the Congress, is chosen by the legislature thereof. Okay, those two sides create the legislative branch. House of Representatives, Senate. House of Representatives is by the people, multiple members. The Senate is 2 members. 2 members. 2 members. It's going to be important in a second. Don't be important in a second. Just bear with me. Yeah, we'll get to it right now. So when we look to it, when we look to our government, now reading this, don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, says the United States has a legislative branch. Okay, the legislative branch. Oh, that's right. What is the legislative powers? The Congress. Each house shall be the judge of the elections. Oh, weren't we just talking about voting? Asiatic Afan? So the legislative branch is dealing with the voting. Each house shall be in charge of the elections, returns the qualification of its own members. Where else are we at? Laws. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with the amendments as on other bills. So we're dealing with laws, or we're dealing with taxes. Powers granted to the Congress. The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes. And then we go over, boom. So legislative for the United States of America, we're talking about the House of Representatives, the Senate, that creates the Congress. House of Representatives, multiple members chosen by the people. The Senate, 2 people. I keep wanting to stress that because it's very important. It's very important. 238. Bam. It's very important. Boom. Legislative branch of the United States of America is the Congress. 2 sides of the Congress. House of Representatives and the Senate. What would be the legislative branch for our government? If we're looking at the United States of America to learn how to run a government, to teach us, what would be our legislative branch for Moorish Americans? Oh, somebody already ahead of me. Judicial, legislative, and executive. Yes, yes. Okay, but we just, hold on one second. I'm sorry, because I'm getting ahead of myself. Legislative. We're just going to work on legislative real quick. What is the legislative branch of the Moorish American government for the Moorish American nation? Solomon Ras, the executive ruler. Ooh, almost. Let's go to it. We are going back to the Moorish literature. Got to go to what Noble Drew Ali laid down for us. We'll be reading from number 42, to all governors, grand chiefs, and head officials of temple. All right. During this convention period, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said on the 17th of October that he was going to appoint, we're going to come back to that in a moment, appoint, remember that word, 7 men tried and true and accepted by you. This is to all governors, grand sheiks, and head officials of temple. He's going to appoint, Noble Drew Ali is going to appoint 7 men tried and true, accepted by you, governors, grand sheiks, and head officials of temple. And on the very next day, Noble Drew Ali stepped forward from the chamber room and declared he now had his number, and said that the grand body had accepted his choice in the setting of the Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The grand body is the governors, grand sheiks, head officials of temples. To me, that sounds like the Congress. But let's continue. Noble Drew Ali also declared what the duties in conjunction with that of the grand body, which consist of all executive rulers, chief rulers, governor. Okay. We're almost there. Okay, legislative. Remember, in the United States of America, the legislative branch is the Congress, composed of 2 parts, House of Representatives and the Senate. I am putting forth the information based on this that Noble Drew Ali put forth. It seems that our legislative branch of our government is called the grand body, comprised of governors, grand sheiks, and head officials. That sounds like the House of Representatives. But wait, the Congress, it has the House of Representatives, which is a bunch of members chosen by the people. And Noble Drew Ali did say our leaders is chosen by us. Okay. But then what is the other side for us? What is the Senate side? Because if this is true, we should have something like a Senate where it's 2 specific members of the House of Representatives that is chosen. Going back to the oral statements and prophecies of Noble Drew Ali. Number 238, listen closely, please listen closely. During the first annual national convention, now understand, first annual national convention, we're talking about our nation, governmental. As Kojo Awal said, conventions are for governments. One of the grand governors of a state failed to appear at the convention. The grand governor would be a head official. Brother J. Blakely Bey, past SGA and M, said that the Holy Prophet sent the grand governor a telegram informing him that if he did not attend the convention, that he, the Holy Prophet, was going to have the FBI arrest him. Noble Drew Ali was going to have the FBI arrest a Moorish American grand governor for not attending the first national convention. This is government. Please listen. All Grand Sheiks and officials of the Moorish Science Temple of America are supposed to attend the annual national conventions to account to the grand body of their temple responsibilities for the past year. Each subordinate temple is to send their Grand Sheik, that's one, and secretary, that's two, to the convention to represent their temple and make reports to the grand body of temple affairs. Let's summarize. Legislative branch of the United States of American government is the Congress. Two parts. House of Representatives, members chosen by the people. The Senate, two officials chosen by the legislature. Moorish Americans government, the legislative branch, the grand body, comprised of the House of Representatives, Grand Sheiks, what did I read? Grand Sheiks, governors, etc. And its Senate would be the Grand Sheik and secretary, two people. Does that make sense? Does that seem illogical? Does that seem irrational? Does that seem like I'm reaching for something? Does that seem like it doesn't make sense? Because we're talking about government. Just want to make sure we're walking on the same page here. Nobody? Okay. Boom. Okay, somebody had already said it. They kind of ruined my little step. I was trying to walk you through it. But they had said judicial, legislative, and executive branches. Okay. So now, going off of what Noble Drew Ali said, our literature for our nation. We're supposed to look to the Europeans, United States of America, that government, to teach us how to run our government. United States of America has a legislative branch known as the Congress, two sides. We have a legislative branch, grand body, two sides. We have an executive branch. Which is the Grand Sheik. And on that note, we'll take it to the Divine Constitution, Act 1. We're going to come back to the Act 1 because it is very important. Very important. Act 1, the Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law with the assistance of the Prophet. That is establishing the executive branch. The executive branch. And remember, also, the Grand Sheik, Noble Drew Ali, had the power to appoint people. The power to appoint. Remember I read about the Supreme Grand Council. We're going to get to the council, but Noble Drew Ali appointed them. And I just wanted to read something real quick. Yeah. No, that's not what I was looking for. It's not what I was looking for. Family, you were supposed to find... I was trying to find something specifically for the executive branch, but I don't have it focused. But that's not the point. The executive, we understand, is the president, vice president for the United States of America. For Moorish Americans, our government, it is the Grand Sheik and chairman. President, vice president, Grand Sheik, chairman, executive. So we got the legislative branch. Congress is the United States of America. For Moorish Americans, the grand body. Executive branch for United States of America, president, vice president. For Moorish Americans, Grand Sheik, chairman. the President of the United States can appoint people to, now we're going to the judicial branch. This is what I've been trying to wait, and this is where we're bringing in the Supreme Grand Council, and I appreciate y'all rocking this far. The judicial branch. If I can find it on the page. One moment. I had the pages marked. Promise I did. A little bit of a fumble. Don't worry. We coming. There we are. Judicial. Now I'm gonna reference first the United States of America. The judicial branch. Okay? 3 branches. We covered legislative, executive. This is the 3rd branch, judicial. Judicial powers vested in federal courts. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in 1 Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. Let me read that one more time. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in 1 Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. That is talking about checks and balances. But understand, the judicial branch is talking about the courts. What is that representative of? Justice. Okay. The United States has 1 court, the Supreme Court. That's for the judicial branch of the United States. Now I ask you, brothers and sisters, I ask you, Moorish Americans, true followers of Noble Jew Ali, we have already went over the executive branch of our government, the Grand Sheik and the chairman of Moorish Science Temple of America, executive branch. The legislative branch of our government is the grand body. What would the judicial branch be for the Moorish American government? Anybody? I'm waiting on you guys. I'm looking in the chat. I'm sorry. I'm just waiting on y'all. Nobody has an answer for the judicial branch? Anyone? The Supreme Grand Council and the Supreme Court. It's an interesting question. Answer, excuse me. Peace, brother. My perspective for our Moorish American government, when we're looking towards the United States government to teach us how to run a government, such as our government for our nation, with the judicial branch for the United States, they have the Supreme Court. And for Moorish Americans, we have the Supreme Grand Council. But I don't want you to believe me, because it's not about belief. Let's take it back to the literature, shall we? Now we are going to section 40 of the Moorish literature. And the overall section is called Hold Session of Moorish Science Body. But we are going to go to the end of that, and it's a subsection called To Make Changes. Because of certain incidents and some of the branch temples previous to the convention, far-reaching changes for the betterment of the administrative affairs of the organization will be announced at the convention, again, government, law, by the Prophet, Noble Jew Ali, President, Executive, and enforcement, we're talking about enforcement, by the Supreme Grand Council in future to the laws. but let me continue. It is reported that the prophet, the supreme executive authority, executive branch, will appointments, just like in the United States government, the president appoints justices to the Supreme Court. The prophet will appoint a Supreme Grand Council, of which he will be the Supreme Grand Chairman. The Supreme Grand Council will have the power and duty to control and supervise all the affairs and properties of the Moorish Temple of America. And this is very key because we're talking about the judicial branch. This is very key. And they, the Supreme Grand Council, will be the sole judge. The sole judge. One, as I read in the Constitution for the United States of America, there is one sole Supreme Court. Do you see the reflection of what constitutes conduct injurious? This is judging, judicial. What constitutes conduct injurious to the order, peace, interest, or welfare of the organization, the Moorish Temple of America, our nation, or at variance with its constitution, again, judicial, and bylaws, and also the rules and regulations made by the prophet, and shall be, again, the sole judicial judge of the sufficiency of the evidence by which such conduct is shown. Wow. So, oh man, I forgot that one other part. I'm sorry. Temple tax. This is coming out of Moorish literature. Number 7. Convention. Votes. When we talking about something about voting, voting happened at the convention. Voting happened at the convention. I'm going to say it again. Voting happened at the convention. Because of the fact that the expense of the operation of the temple is increasing so fast that it was found necessary to vote a tax to the prophet to carry out on the work. This idea was concurred with by the Supreme Grand Council. This act is so arranged that it will not be a burden to any of the temples, but the prophet is very emphatic that it shall not be ignored. I want to read... the other last piece. The last piece. This per capita tax is intended to apply to all members alike, governors and grand sheiks included. The governor or officer in charge of each temple will cause a report to be rendered to the Supreme Grand Business Manager of the Supreme Grand Council. So, just to summarize. The governor or officer in charge of each temple will cause a report to be rendered to the Supreme Grand Business Manager of the Supreme Grand Council. So each temple and the officers, the heads of each temple, are sending reports to the Supreme Grand Business Manager who works in the Supreme Grand Council. And it specifies what's in the report. Number of adepts, members, new members taken in. Everybody has to render a report. All the temples. And you're held responsible if you do not render that report. And the individual temples will be held responsible for the audits that happen because they failed to render a report. So there's consequences and responsibilities of being a head of a temple, such as a grand sheik or a governor. It's responsibilities that come with that title, with that seat in our government. Because it's not just religious. Remember, it's not just religious. Okay. Man, we've been going for a minute. So let me summarize real quickly. What am I saying? I'm saying that when I've been stressing the importance of the Supreme Grand Council, at the core of what I've been trying to communicate and didn't quite understand until I really focused in on this literature is that the Supreme Grand Council is a piece or a branch of our government. And as Moorish Americans, our nation, it's our responsibility and our duty to make sure that things is working properly, to enforce the Constitution, as people have been saying often and often, so forth. And we need to enforce the Constitution, as Drew Ali said. True indeed. Let's enforce that divine Constitution. Because, I mean, I hope you don't think that Drew Ali was saying enforce the Constitution of the United States of America before we enforce the divine Constitution. I know you're not saying that. Dear masterminds, I know you wouldn't be saying such a thing as that. Because that wouldn't make sense, as this is a divine and national movement. Okay. The Supreme Grand Council is an integral piece. It is a branch of our government. And to be a leader of a temple, to be the head of a temple, i.e. Cujo Awa'el, i.e. Jamal, i.e. any Moorish American, you have to follow the guidance and the laws and the instructions laid down to us by our prophet. One of which is rendering a report to the Supreme Grand Business Manager who works in the Supreme Grand Council. Are we doing that? No, we are not doing that. Ah, brother, yes, I'm glad you're watching, and I greatly appreciate that question. Grand Sheikh Rami Salam El, you're a Grand Sheikh too, right? Have you sent in your reports? Here we go. This is the book, Moorish Jewels Emerald Edition. So we can put this on the record. This is a book that I wrote, published through Khalifa Media. On the back, it says here, Rami Salam El, me, was born and raised in Oakland Territory. October 2011, he found out about the Moors. I studied and learned about a man named Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple of America. Now I'm an editor of the Moorish Oakland Star newspaper and Grand Sheikh, that's right, Grand Sheikh of the International Asiatic Moorish Hip Hop, Moorish Hip Hop Subordinate Temple, number 23. Let's be very transparent and clear and honest, because we are to stand on the 5 principles, one of them being truth. When I was being active and created the International Asiatic Moorish Hip Hop Subordinate Temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I was doing my best to be as active as best that I knew how, and looking at the people that inspire me, such as Brother Cujo, who said, you just need to get active. If you know it, then you can just make it happen. And that's what I did, until I learned about the Supreme Grand Council. And I had questions that didn't make sense. And then I said, I have to take a step back. I have to stop. I cannot continue just trying to put forth the idea that, yeah, I'm the Grand Sheikh in name only, and I'm going to get the official stuff worked out later. No, I cannot do that, because I think it's something in this Supreme Grand Council that will help clear up things and will help me do it the correct way. And so since I learned about the Supreme Grand Council, you haven't heard me refer to myself so much as a Grand Sheikh. You haven't seen any more literature really me pushing and me saying I'm a Grand Sheik and this is the temple and here. And have you seen me collecting any dues from anyone? In fact, I created the temple and said it's only an informational temple until we can have real members and set things up correctly. But I wanted to get the information out at the time. I say all of that to say, no, I haven't sent any reports. I have not. I don't know who to send them to, which is why I keep asking who are the active members of the Supreme Grand Council so that I could find out who's the Supreme Grand Business Manager and other information so that I can do it properly the way Noble Drew Ali instructed us. I have no shame in admitting that I made flaws even though my intentions were good. My intentions were good, but we have to do it the correct way. When we know better, we must do better. So I'm not shying away that I haven't sent in any reports. No. But what I am saying is I stopped the activity and began focusing on let's inform all of the people about the Supreme Grand Council, because that is the only way we can move forward once everyone is informed on how our government works, so that we don't have confusion and offshoot groups such as Jamal and yourself doing their own thing and saying things like what we do is better than the Supreme Grand Council. How is what you do better than our government, sir? It is not. You have to humble yourself, brother. Please. For your sake. I'm not saying this out of ego. I'm saying this for your sake. I want to see you do better. Because we are here to help uplift humanity. Not be who's the best Grand Sheik. Not compete over views. That's not what it's about. Stop attacking me. The enemy is your lower self, brother. Got it. Got it. It's clear that you're angry, man. This is not an act, man. This is me talking to you. I'm gonna continue praying for you. I'm asking, though, please stop disrespecting me. I have not disrespected you. I'm simply teaching what Noble Drew Ali instructed us. And you calling me coward and all sorts of things. It's not cool, man. I'm asking, please stop doing that. If you don't want to learn, if you don't want to honestly and genuinely and sincerely build, then you don't have to be here. You don't have to diss me to do your thing if that's what you want to do. If you want to do your thing, do your thing. I'm doing what Noble Drew Ali instructed because I'm a servant of Allah. And with that, especially with the brother Cujo, I would like to read Act 1 again. And I would like us to listen very closely because Brother Cujo, some people from the Rise of the Moors, they have been saying, Rami, you violated Act 3. And Kush Day, Rami, you violated Act 3. You a violator. You're not breaking the law. And I said, okay, let me review that. And I said, let me read over the Divine Constitution again. Let me start from the beginning. We're going to get to Act 3. I said, but let me start from the top. Let me make sure that I'm in line. Let me check myself. And so I read Act 1. So I want to read it with you. Divine Constitution. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'm going to pause that one more time. The Grand Sheik, run it back. The Grand Sheik and chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. As we went over earlier, the grand body is the legislative branch of the government, the Moorish Congress, if you will. And that grand body has duties that we read that was outlined and to make changes. The grand body, one of its duties is to work hand in hand with the Supreme Grand Council. And that grand body is comprised up of the sheiks, the heads and officials of the temples. By Cujo, Brother Cujo Awa'el's own admission, he said, and you can check it for yourself, you don't have to believe me. He said himself, he's been known about the Supreme Grand Council. He also said, F the Supreme Grand Council. He also said the work that he is doing and Canaan Land Moors is doing is better than the Supreme Grand Council. He also said that he's not sending any money or any reports to the Supreme Grand Council. And here's where we have a problem. You cannot be a grand sheik, a governor, which is the head of a temple, which would be in the grand body and required to be at the conventions, and also required to work with the Supreme Grand Council. So you cannot be a grand sheik and not work with the Supreme Grand Council. That cannot happen. According to Noble Drew Ali, not what I said. Not Rami's opinion, not Rami's belief. Not Rami's feelings on it. This is what Noble Drew Ali instructed and set up our government. The hand in hand is how we get the unity. But as you can see in the chat, me pointing this out hurts Brother Cujo, because he feels it's an attack on him. And it points out that he hasn't been as active as he may feel he's been. But this is the truth, and I want to make this very clear. It's not about Cujo. Cujo is one grand sheik, amazing work, but it's not about just Cujo. This applies to everyone in the grand body, which is all of the grand sheiks. So all of the grand sheiks should be rendering reports to the Supreme Grand Business Manager of the Supreme Grand Council. All of the grand sheiks should be working hand in hand with the Supreme Grand Council. So all of us, all of us, we, say it again, we haven't been doing the work as the Prophet instructed us to do. We have been passive and not active in this regard. This is not dismissing or discrediting the other works that we have done. It is not to belittle or to make you feel less than Cujo or anyone that's watching this, but it's to be honest. If we're to be leaders, you hear me now? If we're to be leaders, we cannot just stand and point the way. We cannot be a block of wood, Cujo. You understand what I'm saying? And the footprints have already been laid out. We already know the direction to go. All we have to do is follow the leader. And that, quite frankly, is the solution. Following the leader. And who is the leader? Come on now, somebody tell me now. Come on, I need some love now. Who is the leader? Who is the leader for Moorish Americans? Anybody? Besides Brother Cujo, we kind of he big mad right now. Nobody else? Nobody know the leader for Moorish Americans? No? No? See it back. I love seeing Bay. Appreciate, the clock of destiny. Not quite. Not quite. Anyone else? Anybody else want to give out a suggestion on who is the leader that we should be following? Who set the example for Moorish Americans to know which way that we need to be walking, how we need to be moving, who we should be imitating, if you will? Nobody? I'm gonna give you a hint. Hey, James Jackson, one time. You feel me? You know it. Ali, man. Oh, man, on that note, matter of fact, never mind. I ain't even gonna pull him up on you. I was gonna pull him up on you, but I ain't even gonna pull him up on you. All right, so closing it up, man. Solutions, because we have walked through the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we are at 7. We done walked through who Noble Ali is, establishing he's a prophet, he's our prophet, Moorish Americans prophet, also the president and founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And we are told and informed we are to obey and follow his instructions, okay? And then we broke down the government, okay? And then we seen where we were lacking in our government, and we see that we do have the structure, but we get some things we got to do. We got to clean up. We had a little brief intermission with an angry brother that doesn't want to love, is still in the hate, but it's all good. We're going to love you anyway. You can't stop the love. You feel me? But then back to the focus. What are we to do right now? What is the solution? This is my opinion, my perspective. My opinion now, this is my perspective. I feel we should listen to Noble Ali. I know it's crazy. I know. Just hear me out, though. Hear me out. He been right about so much so far. Why are we doubting him? Why? Let's just listen to what he said, man. He's a prophet. You feel me? We have to understand who our officials are. We have to get back and clean up our temple. Understand how this structure works from the national level and down in the lower subordinate levels. Just like there's a federal, and a state, and a local level. Well, there's a national and okay, but see, we got to work through this. Now, it is very important that we all attend the convention. Excuse me. As Noble Ali made it very clear, the heads of the people that didn't attend the convention, he was on the FBI line like, what's happening, yo? Hey, they playing games. They ain't pulling up. Go get them. I ain't say it, man. But apparently going to the convention is very important. So I will be there. God willing, we can travel and everything. I will be at that convention. And there I will, by that time, have something more formal together. But I'm currently in the process of studying how truth and reconciliation processes work. And I feel humbly that our nation, our Moorish American nation, needs a truth and reconciliation process to help heal the discord and the disunity, some of the hatred and the toxin that is still in our people, like Cujo is showing now. A chance for us to express our grievances, our, how we feel things went from our perspective, lay out the history, and then heal from it so that we can move forward and continue with our works of uplifting humanity. And I think also from that, we can, at the convention, I'm also going to be putting a more formal request. I don't know what to call it, but a formal ask for all of our leaders, for us, and by leaders, I'm talking about our grand sheiks, our governors, all the heads of the temples, um, for us to begin educating. Figure out, I'm thinking maybe the next convention, but whatever, we study and truly understand what Noble Drew Ali left us so that when the next convention rolls around, we can choose our leaders. We can vote our leaders in the proper way as Noble Drew Ali taught us. Um, so that is my whole kind of shindig on the Supreme. Oh, and the last thing about cleaning up the Moorish Science Temple of America, especially with Brother Cujo in here. Um, as great intention as we may be to want to go outside the temple and do the work because we feel it is infiltrated, and because we feel there's agents in the temple, there are people that are doing wrong, people that are not following the prophet's instructions. Because we feel that, and let's just, for the sake of the argument, okay, there are people in the temple that are agents, infiltrators, etc., etc., etc. I'm not even going to argue. We agree. Does that mean that we get scary and run away from the temple? Oh my goodness, it's agents. No, we can't do that. Does it mean we just look in from the outside like, man, the agents are messing up our temple, man? Man, why they keep doing that to our stuff inside? I like that couch in there. No, we don't do that either. Do we say, well, I mean, they inside, so I'm gonna build a little clubhouse out here on the tree and hope that they rock with me in the clubhouse instead of going into the. No, we don't do that either. What we have to do, brothers and sisters, Moorish Americans, is we have to get into that temple and get active. You know what I'm talking about? Get that, get one of these, you feel me? Put some work in that thing. You see the dirt in that thing. Get that broom and dustpan. Get that mop. Get a little elbow grease in that thing. Get to work. Brother Cujo. Brother, all our brothers and sisters, we got to get to work and clean up the temple. You cannot wash the dishes and vacuum the carpet from the outside, baby. It just don't work that way. It just don't work that way. And I understand you may be a little scared, but we can't be scared. Why? Because Allah is our protector. Mm. Ooh. 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 Allah is our protector. Not the pistol, not the pistol, not the boom. No, no, no. Not the boomstick. Not the shotty bow. Not the AK. Not the AR. Not the brrr. Not the sticks. Not the blickies. Allah. Ah, isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Um, any more? Is there any more questions? Let me take any questions that we have before I close them out. Ooh, Moorish American Nationals Hub. I love that statement. The fact that no one would even be thinking on nationality, birthrights, or Moors without what Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought us shows us who we should be paying attention to. Easy decision. Steph Curry. Oh my goodness. So sweet. So sweet. I feel you. I feel you. Um, do we have any more? Amazite Bay. We're supposed to say the nationalities, y'all. Come on, man. We got a little system. Amazite Bay. Will you answer or you coming to smash this issue or what? IG Live. I don't even understand the question, brother. Could you reword that one? Um, Rami, why you not mad like Cujo? Um, that's a great question. That's a great question, and the answer is simple. I'm following the instructions of Noble Drew Ali, who told us very simply and plainly, we are to love instead of hate. We are to love instead of hate. Gotta love instead of hate. Serve your friend, your kin. Those are no kin. The stranger at the gates and the foe that seeks to do you harm. Gotta be a servant to everybody. Gotta love everybody, even the ones that are saying very mean and harsh things to you. One time for my man, MLK. You should check him out too. Very wise brother. Amazing speeches, man. Any other questions? I'm doing an IG live after this. Will you come? Amazite Bay. Well, what is the reason that I need to join the live? I don't know what's going on. Munamuso. If you could tell me what's your name and your nationality, Munamuso. Oh, is there any other questions? Oh, peace, brother Tango Lee. What's your angle on CM Bay? Another amazing brother doing amazing works. I think he just was a little bit erred in creating an organization outside the Moorish Science Temple of America. No problem creating your own. Oh, I forgot to mention that because they were also, some of the Cujo followers were also saying some real disrespectful things and trying to infer or suggest that I was somehow creating my own thing by calling it the International Asiatic Moorish Hip Hop Temple. Oh, who told you could call it that, Rami? And you didn't get approved. And it was, it's very disrespectful. They were trying to leave out the fact that I always was clear in saying it was subordinate temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America. But I just want to read something to you while I'm live, just so that you can understand. And this is where I got my thinking from. It says, these laws are to be strictly, and I'm reading from chapter 47 of the Quran, Circle 7. It was brought to us by Noble Drew Ali, not by myself, not by Cujo or Taj or CM Bay, by Noble Drew Ali, the leader that we're supposed to follow. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish, and this one is the Holy Temple of Science. It's the older version, but they changed it to Moorish Science Temple of America. That they will learn to open their meetings and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And here's the key part where I got my understanding from. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. Subordinate temples can create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the Grand Major Temple. I read over this information backwards and forwards and saw nowhere where it said that you couldn't change your name of your subordinate temple. As long as you are honoring the 5 principles and it's in conjunction with what Noble Drew Ali laid down, I saw that there was nothing that said we couldn't do it. And then you heard the breakdown in the previous video, but I'll explain it again. International, because our temple is international. We're working with all nations. Humanity. Asiatic, connecting us to our ancient ancestry. Moorish, obviously. Hip-hop. Why hip-hop? That is our culture. Who is our? Moorish culture. So when I made the breakdown of that, and it's also I am hip-hop, that was just another way of just layers. But I saw no problem with any of the names that I used for the subordinate temple name. I just want to make that clear so there's no confusion. Because I don't like people trying to misrepresent me or make it seem like I'm trying to mislead the people or I'm trying to do my own thing. I've always done my best to follow what Noble Drew Ali laid down. And I have no shame in admitting when I make mistakes. What temple am I a part of? I'm of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That's what temple I'm a part of. It's only one temple, only one Allah, only one prophet. Come on, man. Any last question? Because, man, this is only like about 2 hours. Do you, King Cooley, your nationality and your name, if you could. Nationality and your name, if you could. To talk about this issue. Okay. Amazite Bay, to answer your question, I just did a presentation for almost 2 hours, and I put together a video before this, which is about 20 minutes of more information. At this time, it's nothing really to debate about. If there's a question that you have, I'm right here. You can ask me right now. Feel free. Is there something that you didn't understand about our governmental structure? Is there something you don't understand about the importance of the judicial branch of our government, the Supreme Grand Council, Amazite Bay? And on that note, just to make that clarification, because I put it in the video, but let's be clear. When Cujo was on the phone with one of his followers, I forget the brother's name, his followers said that the grand body is our ancestors. That is incorrect. Our grand body is not our ancestors. It's a governmental branch of our nation. So, please, if you have some misunderstanding in what I've said so far, Amazite, let me know. Please point it out. Got it. Oh, I like that. I like that. Let's see. Yahya Abdul Kabir Bey. Proclaim your nationality if you haven't already. Where would you do that? In the temples. You would do that in the temples, and then that would get sent as a report to the main temple and the Supreme Grand Council for our national government. But if the Supreme Grand Council is not active and we don't know the officials of our government, how could we do that? Yeah. How could we do that? Please inform me, Yahya. We cannot. That is why we must first inform ourselves what is really going on. We need to get back to what Noble Drew Ali said, not what Cujo said, not how Cujo feels, not how not what Jamal believes. This is not Jamal's movement. This is not Taharka's movement. This is not Rami's movement. No. This is not Brother Elder, Great Elder Taj Tariq Bey's movement. And he would agree with me. He would point you to Noble Drew Ali. In fact, and I don't really talk about this, but since we're here, I'll let you hear this. When I talked with Taj, after I got done with my section, he told the people, he said, man, I don't even have nothing more to say. This young brother is on it. He is studying Noble Drew Ali. Just listen to what he said. Now, am I saying that to brag? No. What I'm saying is that even Taj was giving me credit. And even with that, I still realize errors in my ways, and you have to correct it. Make reparation as quick as you can. I'm going to close with this. It's easy. It's easy to give in to your pride and your ego and feel like, yeah, I'm doing better. Yeah, I'm doing better than what the prophet was doing. Yeah, I'm active out here. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do it my way. Yeah, because I'm a God, right? Because Allah is in me, so I'm Allah. No. There's one Allah. And don't get it confused. Do not get it confused. Noble Drew Ali is the prophet. You got to humble yourself. Humble yourself. And move with love. That is the key, man. If you ain't got that love, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. So on that note, I appreciate you guys building. I appreciate you, Cujo, and Amazite, and all the ones with the slick shots. I appreciate it. It's okay. It's all good. I ain't tripping. Whenever you're ready to walk with love and build on love, I'm right here. I'm always open to build with anybody if it's on love. When it's the hate, it's cool. I'm going to love you. I'm going to love you from a distance. I'm going to love you, though. Even if you got the hate for me. And it's like that. So let me say the prayer. And let's get up out of here. Oh, praise Allah. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Mother of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day, through our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Thank you. I truly appreciate y'all. Much love to you. Study what Noble Drew Ali said. And always remember, like my brother Cujo, right, Cujo? We gotta love instead of hate. Come on now. Peace. Praise Allah.